What is good, guys? I don't know what I was doing there. It's pretty. Sorry. Hi guys. How's everybody doing? Well, we got some good news and we got some bad news. If you take it that way, the bad news is the Krakoa era of X-Men is coming to an end. Now I know that's been a divisive opinion. Some people liked this past era of the X-Men in the comics, and some people didn't like it, and some people loved it. I was around that 90-15%. I was 90%. I loved it, and maybe 15% I didn't. And what I didn't like about it, let's get to that. What I didn't like about the Krakoa era was I didn't like that the X-Men had started to become a little. They became a little bit overzealous of themselves. Started looking at themselves like gods and stuff, and I didn't like that. Looking down upon everybody, which I didn't like, and I didn't like the fact that they had all their enemies. Like, oh yeah, you're a mutant. Yeah, no problem. No matter, we're forget whatever, all the stuff, that bad things that you did. The only one they really kind of put that was on Sabretooth. Outside of that, they had Sinister, they had Apocalypse, they had Sebastian Shaw, they had all their known villains with them for the ride, and I wasn't liking that. But outside of that, I had no problem. I liked that the X-Men, who was by far, for everybody who doesn't know, you asked me my number one favorite teams in comics. The X-Men's number one. It's always been that. I always loved the X-Men before everybody else. But my thing about it was, like, I liked that, but I also liked that they were on that pedestal with the always high Avengers. But it is coming to an end, and from the ashes, the new era of the X-Men. And one writer that I know personally was going on. She was going on. Yes, a female. She was going on Twitter, and if you follow her on her social media, she kept dropping hints at the X-Men, and I'm like, what are you up to? And over and over, I'm like, what are you talking? Something's going on. And I wasn't the one that was gonna say, hey, come on, tell me, Gail, what's going on? What are you dropping? What's going on? But I didn't do any of that. At the end of it, she could finally now talk about it. And Gail Simone is coming back to Marvel to write this new era of the X-Men. She's going to be one of the 3 main hit writers for the 3 core X-Men titles. There are going to be 3 core X-Men titles, and yeah, there are others, but I'll talk about those later. I'll talk about those in a minute. So there's going to be 3 core X-Men titles, and then everything else centers around those. So it's 3. I know during the Krakoa era, there was just like abundance of X-Men titles, from X-Men to X-Force, Immortal X-Men, Dead X-Men, that. Some people say they got X-Men fatigue, but I didn't care. It was great. If the Avengers could have like 4 or 5 books, why can't the X-Men do? So that's how I look at it. But at the end of the day, the future is looking bright, and pretty much Marvel's bringing out the heavy guns. So I really enjoyed this. So what I read the article on Marvel.com, and they really went to bat with this. So there's 3 X-Men titles. There's going to be Uncanny X-Men, the self-titled X-Men, and then there's going to be Exceptional X-Men. So that's interesting. The teams are very small. That was something that caught my eye too. Like the teams are very small. Gail is writing the Uncanny team, and MacKay, Marvel's new golden boy, is writing X-Men, and Eve L. Ewing is writing Exceptional X-Men. And so I'm here to talk about all three of them in a sense. So let's talk about Uncanny first. Gail Simone is going to be writing that, and I'm so happy for Gail. Gail, if you're watching, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you, as always. She's going to be with David Marquez. I love David Marquez's artwork. I love his artwork. Anything I have a lot of books with his artwork, and his artwork just shines. It would have been cool. It's really cool to see that we're gonna get Gail's writing with Marquez's artwork. That's just great. And it's been over 60 years for the X-Men, man. And they still go strong. And with X-Men 97 coming out next week, why not? So with that being said, it's kind of interesting because what I found out reading the article, Gail's X-Men book is gonna be more of kind of like the X-Men at their superhero-esque core. All three books, if you read the article, all three books will continue to showcase, mutant and things like that, and still pursue Professor Xavier's dream just in their own way, which I appreciate. But yeah, in Uncanny X-Men, they're kind of like outlawed heroes, hated by, still protecting those that hate them. So Gail's book will be more of the superhero-esque, bringing in, still doing their thing. And they're gonna be based in New Orleans. It said right in the article they're gonna be in the Big Easy. We all know what the Big Easy is, right? So yeah, and the team is gonna be Rogue. If you're seeing, you're probably seeing the kind of the team: Rogue, Gambit, Nightcrawler, Jubilee, and Wolverine. Notice Wolverine is back in his yellow costume and yellow-blue costume. Instead of, I dug that they put Wolverine in his classic brown costume in the Krakoa. I thought that was cool. But yeah, they're going to be dealing with, they're going to be in the Big Easy. My only gripe with the team is that it's 5. Y'all know me, guys. I have a problem with odd number teams. I don't like odd number teams. So I'm hoping Gail brings in another member. See that? I do want one more member, Gail. So please tell me there's another member down the line, because I just can't. 5. I got problems with odd numbers. I'm sorry. I do. I really do. So yeah, and that's cool that they're gonna be in New Orleans. So we're in basically the home state of Gambit, and they probably maybe dealing with the Guild of Assassins. Please tell me they're gonna be dealing with Belladonna. That'd be great. But yeah, that's really cool. Now, in terms of the X-Men title, X-Men, the self-titled X-Men title, that's where Jed MacKay will be writing. Jed MacKay, like I said, has become Marvel's go-to golden boy. I just hope he just doesn't overload himself. That's the one thing. He writes Moon Knight, he writes Avengers, he's writing the new event, Blood Hunt. So yeah, it's like, I hope he doesn't overload himself, but he's gonna have Ryan Stegman doing the artwork. And this team, the X-Men, this team, their base of operation is going to be in Alaska. Reading now, I was like, whoa, X-Men in Alaska, because X-Force had their base was in the North Pole or South Pole. So they're going to be in Alaska, and the team is going to be Cyclops, who is in a version of his 90s look, Beast, who looks back to 90s Beast. That's my favorite look for Beast. I always loved his 90s look. Magneto, Psylocke, Kid Omega. I wonder how he's gonna come back. Because if you don't know, he got it currently in Wolverine. He's, you know, and Magic, Juggernaut. I like Juggernaut's look. It's kind of cool. He's in a black. He's all black, but on the helmet it's got an X. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And Oya, who is the mutant that can do fire and ice. Now her name is gonna be Temper. So the X-Men title has more members than Uncanny X-Men. And then we have Exceptional X-Men. This is going to be written by Eve L. Ewing, and Carmen Carnero is doing the artwork. Artwork's good. I've seen Carnero's artwork sometime. Is really good. Now, this book feels more like New Mutants, the New Age version of New Mutants and Generation X, because in this book it's got Kitty Pryde and Emma teaching a new age of young mutants. So Kitty goes back home to Chicago. Remember, Kitty's a Illinois girl. She's from Chicago, so it's really cool to see she goes back. And then of course, she kind of steps away from the war with Orchis, and pretty much that's where she meets these new mutants. She comes across these new mutants. This trio of young mutants called Bronze, Eos, and Melee, and who clearly need training and guidance. So they have no real guidance. They're just doing it. So it's pretty much between Kitty and Emma Frost. But I do like Eve Ewing's writing. I liked her writing with Ironheart, the Champions, and of course she's wrapping up her Black Panther run not too long. That's about to finish. So yeah, she does a lot of good work. I do like that. But outside of that, there are others that will be coming, and those are just the nucleus of the X-Men. But there are others that will be coming. So we're getting Phoenix, I guess the rebirth of Jean, which, I'm not surprised Jean coming back. X Factor. When's the last time we had an X Factor book? Storm is getting another shot at a solo series. Hopefully it goes more than 12 issues. That's the one problem about whenever Storm gets a book. They never make it past 12 or 14 issues. Next, so I guess we're doing another Laura getting a book. X-Force, and of course Wolverine gets his own title. You knew that was coming. So those are basically the 9 X-Men titles, X-Men related mutant titles that are coming. I'm wondering what the X-Force team is going to look like, and of course the X-Factor team. Is the X-Factor team going to be, multiple man, strong guy, Havoc, Polaris, all those? Or is it going to be a version of the original X-Factor book, meaning we may get Iceman and all those on it? Because that's the original X-Factor book, remember, was the original X-Men team just in their own book. With X-Force, it's the same thing, like who's going to be on that team? And it does make me wonder, like, where are the other X-Men? Like, it's going to be interesting to see. It really is. But I like what I see. I like what I see, guys. It's just, it's great to see. And the thing about it that really makes me happy is one of them, the one thing that really makes me happy, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat, it's Gail. It's Gail being a part of this, and I love that she gets to write this and gets to be a big part of being one of the nucleus writers of this new era of X-Men. That's the biggest thing for me. I can't wait to see how she, and for her, when you look at her team, that's the right group of characters for her to write. Like I said before, there are 5 members, but I wish there were more. Maybe another female character would be great, at least to make it 6. Because if I was a writer for a comic and I was doing a team, I could never do odd number. That would be in my contract. No odd number team. I gotta have even number team. I'm sorry. I got OCD about that, guys. But I'm happy. I'm really happy, and I look forward to continue to read the X-Men in this new era. But yeah, this is great. Gail and Mr. MacKay and Miss Ewing, y'all have fun. I'm gonna be right there reading it. I'm looking forward to hearing who are gonna be writing, who are the creative teams for the other books too. Will Ben Percy stay on Wolverine, or will he leave? You know, or X-Force, because I think Ben Percy was writing X-Force too. Or will we get new writers? I'm looking forward to the creative teams for those. Once those come out, I will definitely give my thoughts on those as well. But right now, my thoughts on this, thumbs up. You guys take care. I'll see you guys next time.